Hi everyone, my name is Mohan and I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Afilias Limited. I'm also on the Board of Directors of ICANN. It is my absolute pleasure to speak to you, unfortunately via video, at this first international conference on cybercrime and cyberlaw that my good friend Pavan Dugal has organized. You know, one of the things I'm often asked in my dual roles is what are the kinds of things that keep me awake at night? Let me tell you, more than probably anything else, large-scale distributed denial of service attacks, they're called DDoS attacks, they're probably the single most pervasive threat to the ongoing security and stability of the internet as a whole, of the domain name system certainly. And that has a direct impact on cybercrime, and that has often led to advances and to developments in cyberlaw. Most recently, ICANN's Security and Stability Advisory Committee, or SSAC for short, of which I'm one of the founding members, put together a set of recommendations with a clear and direct focus on steps that ought to be taken to combat this tremendous problem that exists in cybercrime today. My colleague Vasu Venkatadri from Afilias is here in the audience with you, and you can turn to him to get more information about these recommendations and where to find the information on the ICANN website. But let me just quickly summarize what the SSAC is saying. It's got 5 core recommendations. Many of them are quite technical in nature, but to the audience here, let me try to summarize it in a very simple way. Number 1, ICANN, the organization that is responsible for the coordination of the domain names of actors in the domain name system and to help ensure the security and stability of the domain name system, there are some specific recommendations to ICANN to help put together a global coalition of practitioners, of industry, of policymakers, of lawyers, of government folks, of regulators to come together to focus on how to combat distributed denial of service attacks. There are also several recommendations that are aimed at internet service providers or ISPs, at network service providers, as well as DNS operators. In addition, there are some recommendations aimed at software manufacturers. If you crystallize a lot of these recommendations, they come down to a few simple concepts. Follow open standards, make sure that software is brought up to date with the latest protocols, ensure that security is an important priority in every single action that is taken in an IT organization, and when it comes to rolling out systems and solutions, ensure that the IETF-based and other standards organizations-based technologies and protocols are adopted and implemented in a way that is up to the most recent standard. So, what I ask of you to consider when you go back home tonight is the following. Think about what common sense initiatives you can implement. Think about what technology upgrades exist that you or your staff ought to go and look at and implement. Think about what kind of practical initiatives you can take as a regulator, you can take as an administrator, you can take as a leader or as a business manager. What specific things can you do to help ensure that a response to cybercrime is a balanced one? It's balanced in the sense that it is a strong response to the criminal, a fair response to the victim, and a good response, a timely response to the end user who is most affected. If you keep those 3 principles in mind, I think India has a tremendous opportunity to become the world leader in how to implement great cyber law to combat terrible cybercrime. Thank you very much. I wish this event a great success, and Pavan, thank you so much for having me on.